Okay.
Okay.
So, welcome to another episode of the Helpside Basketball Show. Today we have an amazing person. We are very blessed to have him in the building. Well, not technically, but remotely in the building. But Claude Nembhard, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us because we have lots to talk about, and we just want to get right into it. Okay, is that cool?
No problem, Eric. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. You're
No.
one of the real ones. So when you asked me to do this to you, I said, my pleasure.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So, right off the bat, you've been pretty much you've done everything under the sun in terms of basketball development in this country. You've been you've been an educator, you've been an advisor, a coach, a mentor, board member, and now a CEO. With with people like yourself who are super, highly decorated, you obviously had someone influential in your life. So, who was that person that you would give credit to influence that young Claude?
It's a great question. And I don't have a really great answer, I don't think. But um, my mom passed away when I was young, like 7 or 8, and didn't know my father at the time. So my mom raised me from childbirth, and my godparents lived in the city, and they were very close. So when my mom passed away, I lived with them,
Mhm.
and they lived in a very nice area, York Mills and Bayview area. So I moved from, I want to say I was in a tough neighborhood, but I was a tough neighborhood with my mom, moving to a pretty bougie area,
Yeah.
growing up since grade 3.
Okay.
And the reality is, a lot of my friends growing up in that my new neighborhood were really high achievers. I went to high school called York Mills Collegiate in a very nice area in Toronto, North York. And
Mhm.
literally everyone that was my friend were really doctors and lawyers. They owned businesses, restaurateurs. So from a very early age, I was around a lot of high achievers. So it kind of just became, what you did. You went to school, you went to university. I was the first in my family to do that. And you see your friends doing these things, so you kind of got to do it too. I always talk about that in my educational space. Peer pressure is one of the toughest things a great family, a great parent can derail. Usually the environment you're in kind of dictates where your pathway in life is going to be. And
Mhm.
I don't think I have a particular person, Merrick, to give credit
Yeah.
to, but I have a lot of good friends and people that are around me that kind of shaped how I was as a young man.
So you pretty much did what your people were doing around you. So
Yeah.
again, I guess your environment takes credit.
100% for me. I mean, there's really no individual person. I mean, my godparents were great. I mean, they provided me that space, and so if I give anybody any credit, give them a lot of credit for raising the
Okay.
person that who I am today. Jamaican family, grew up with, a lot of communities have aunts and uncles. They weren't officially my aunts and uncles, but my parents had a circle of friends that they would go to every weekend and hang out,
Mhm.
dominoes, this and that, and I was tagging along. I was never left at home. If I couldn't go, if I wasn't welcome, then they weren't going. So, it
Mhm.
was a good family group, and they had all good, kids around them too, and we kind of just lived in that neighborhood environment. It kind of really shaped me as a hopefully a good person doing the right thing. And then I kind of fell in love with basketball. So I kind of made a business out of it and tried to grow with it. And it's just I love basketball. I think as a lot of people that you talk to do, I really love it. So everything I did, Merrick, as a
Yeah.
youngster, kind of came back to basketball. So everything in
Mhm.
work wise, you could work during the week and find yourself in a gym on the weekend. It became it's a very addictive drug. It's been a
Mhm.
blessing for me and my family. So it's pretty cool.
So you mentioned being in the gym, and I guess that was your safe zone. For many of us, that was a safe zone for us. And you've played a pivotal role in those gymnasiums, on those sidelines, with those teams, and you've mentored hundreds of youth as a coach. What was your approach to get kids to buy into your philosophy when you're on the sidelines? And does does that philosophy still resonate with kids in today's culture?
Well, I mean, listen, we all do what works for us and what you're comfortable with. And I think for me, again, I fell in love with the game early. Um, I played a lot of basketball when I was younger. I was kind of a five man my whole life. So when I had kids, I said, I'm gonna have point guards in my building because we're not the tallest family ever. And you know what, Merrick, just did things the right way, I think. Like I wanted my kids to be the best. And I would always seek information. So I never thought I knew everything. I did
Mhm,
what I did, and then I would get someone to help me. And I would get that person who knew what they were talking about, had experience in this space, or was really good at what they did. I'd bring them around my kids. Like for
mhm.
example, one of the first people that was able to be in a gym with my kids besides myself was a friend of mine named Marvin Spencer.
Okay.
And at the time, I had a friend named Gad Perlmutter who went to school with Marvin, George Brown, and then I heard he was an amazing guard. He had a great track record in the city. Everyone loved him. So I said, "Listen, come to my house and look at my kids." And he saw Andrew and he trained him a little bit. He brought him to a jungle gym, Merrick, and he did some crazy dribbling up the steps, down the steps, on the curb. And literally, this young Marvin Spencer, who's a good friend of mine to this day, I've never seen him be with kids and do the same drills. Right? So, my
Mhm.
point is, I sought always the best for my kids.
Right.
And then anybody that was in the gym was my kids now too. So I always think the same for them also. So just being trained the right way, working
Mhm,
hard. If you want to be good, you got to put the time in.
mhm,
You've been the same. You've been in many gyms like myself, and people will come to you. I want to make a team at my school. So let's work for a month and see what happens. Well,
mhm.
that's not going to be the result you want, right?
Right.
So I've always been a firm believer, if you want success, and it could be anything. That's why basketball is so great. It translates to the rest of life. That's
Mhm,
why people love to hire athletes, right? So because they work hard, and so my job was to instill that in my kids. And when I say kids, anybody who was coming to my gym would
right.
get in the same treatment. So people would say back in the day I coached hard. I definitely coached hard, but it
Mhm,
came with love and passion. That's why kind of you and I get along, because I think I see the same thing in you programs. Your kids get better,
mhm,
so but they're also good kids too, right? So we want kids getting better. We want also respectful kids and working hard. So someone else will want them too to be under their wing.
yeah, I mean, you mentioned, just being in the gym and doing things the right way and, being a good role model for your kids, making sure they're exposed to good people, like you said, shout out to Marvin.
Yeah.
Um, so you've held a lot of titles throughout your career, and like you and me, we're both fathers, and I know you cherish that title as a father, because the results show for themselves. How did your professional career influence, in terms of your leadership roles, how did that influence how you raised your 2 boys?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a tough question. Um, I think I would take the other way around, and I mean, because I had my kids first before I was doing anything
Okay.
really. I was a financial advisor for most of my life, but I was really a basketball guy when it comes down to it. Because when I was coaching, like when Andrew came, I was already coaching house league in Mamba, and I was a crazy nut, reffing hard these kids in house league. I just think me being a dad has been so important, and it's the thing I love to cherish the most. Just being around, being present, communicating, just being a good guy.
Mhm,
So my kids can look up to and know that I'm always there for them. Um, I think I moved that to the business space. So as a CEO in this role here, it's an open door policy. We have a lot of young people in this building. This is their first job for a lot of people at Territorial Basketball. So try to mentor them and be an open door. We have a lot of interns that we have here. They listen, just because my door is closed or I'm here, it doesn't mean I'm CEO, but I was you at one time, right?
mhm,
So a big part of me being here in America is my give back. Ontario
right,
basketball has been very good to me and my family. I think my boys have done every program in this building throughout time. So a lot of their success was started here. So
right,
me being here is me giving back. And I think just giving back is a way of being around, being accessible to people in this building, especially, and watching them grow. I tell them all the time, I don't expect you to have your whole career in this building. And I
mhm,
want to help you get somewhere else, right? So um, I think me being a dad has kind of progressed to the way I live in life. I don't have any daughters, but I treat the young girls here like they're my little girls.
right,
The same with the young men here. So I want them to do really well. And you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. I
mhm.
think in basketball and life, the more mistakes you make, unfortunately, the better you're going to be in life. No, it's the same we have in Jamaica. No one's born big.
Yep.
And you know what? Making mistakes is not the worst thing. You got somebody to get out of your comfort zone and make mistakes. So it's a loaded question, Merrick.
Yes.
But I think the fact that I take me being a dad, okay, low key, I'm a dad to this whole building. I'm the oldest person in this room. It's funny. You go through things in life. Years ago, I was a young boy in rooms. Now I'm the old guy in rooms, right? So I just try and be something that can, but also I want them to work hard, you
Right.
know, and nothing is given, so you have to work hard to get results. So I'm happy to be there for you, but I need you to work hard and show me that you're trying to get better, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, again, the results speak for themselves, and the fact that you are kind of tapped to be, in a leadership role there, they can't, you can, I mean, it's a new role, and the fact that they tapped you to lead, to fill that inaugural role. I mean, I'm sorry for the next person. You know what I mean? If it's they got big shoes to fill because of your experience within the community, and again, that give back. So kudos to you on that. Um, but I just want to get back to, you know, your boys. There's around 25 Canadians on NBA rosters this year. Two are from your household.
Uh-huh.
And that's not something to just shake your head at. I mean, something to just brush off as a fluke or something. Were there specific things that you did with your boys growing up, apart from obviously what you've mentioned, bringing them, exposing them to good people and good trainers? Like, what can you list the things, short list of things that you did to get your kids to the next level, to the ultimate level?
I think I get asked this question a lot lately,
Mhm,
and I think so. I don't want to come across as a know-it-all, but I think the basis of this is love. Like I love basketball. Like I said numerous times in this call, and my kids love the game. I think parents forget right now that this is a game. As much as it's potentially the NBA or the WNBA. The odds of getting to that space are very little. So I think we got to get back to the fact that having these kids play just for loving the game and put goals in place at different parts of your life. I think I've been very good in doing that. Andrew was in the basement with me. When he was one, he got a Fisher Price basketball net, which I'm sure many people in the space got. But Merrick, he loved that thing. Like,
mhm,
as a dad, every night we would go in the basement, I'd put cones out, and it wasn't like 3 hours we're doing drills and stuff, but from a very young age, half an hour a night, we're playing, I I didn't wanna say I manipulated him, but he's doing drills, and we're playing at the end of it, we're playing one-on-one or whatever,
mhm,
but he's getting his work in every day, but that's not me forcing him. He
right,
loved doing that. That was his passion, and I had 2 boys in my house that couldn't sit still, so they always wanted to be active, and this was a way to do it. They played many sports growing up, but they love basketball, and I
mhm,
think if the kids, because that work is work, it's actually work,
right,
and, you have to if it's me as a dad or a mom, my wife as a mom or any parent out there trying to say, "You gotta do this today, you gotta do this today to get to this level." Well, that's not gonna be happening 'cause that's your dream, not the kid's dream.
mhm, right,
And I'm very blessed to say Andrew and Ryan were very much in tone with this. I was I was a very big geek when it came out. I mean, I was on the internet all the time looking for drills, that kind of stuff, and they were my guinea pigs, but they loved it,
mhm,
right? The key thing is they loved it, and now I worked them hard when they were young. We had hard practices, and now they're used to that. Like they
right,
don't expect anything else when they like hard coaches, meaning coaches that are on them and helping them get better, and they embrace that. So instill the love, the hard work, the process. Um, you know, I'm very proud that they work very, very hard, and every coach that's ever coached them at some point says, "Yeah, these are guys," but the guys because they worked hard, not because they were given
mhm,
anything. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure because after the success we had with Andrew, I'm sure people doors open for my kids a bit more, but they still got to do the work when the doors open.
right,
So I won't say that I didn't help them get into doors, but I always
mhm,
said to them, "I can get you in the door, but you got to do the work. You got to stay in the
right,
door in
right,
that room." Right. So I think that's to answer your question. The love of the game, they did that from an early age. Um, They put some goals in place. They want to play in the NBA from a long time. And, Rowan Bear taught me this years ago. As Canadians, we're hesitant to say, "Oh, I want to go to the NBA with my kids." It's
Mhm.
okay to say it. You almost can't do it if you don't make it put on the wall.
Right.
But it has to be a plan, and you can't be obsessive. And if you don't get to the NBA, what is next for you? It's okay. If you don't
Right.
get the NBA, it doesn't mean you're a failure. WNBA doesn't mean you're a failure. Make
Mhm.
whatever is your NBA. Like, to be honest with you, the first goal for my kids was getting them a scholarship.
Mhm.
I'm lucky that my brother-in-law went to Harvard, my sister-in-law went to Harvard, so we were there all the time in that gym working, just working out. So as my brother-in-law would be working, and I would go to the gym and shoot around, and as Andrew and Ryan would come with me on those trips, they would shoot around too.
Right.
And the goal, Merrick, was to go to Harvard. That was the first goal.
Okay.
The first goal was to get Andrew to Harvard to play. Um, no disrespect to Harvard, but that was not the highest level of basketball, but it was a great education.
Right.
And then as time went by, realized, okay, maybe we can go a bit higher level than Harvard.
Right.
So, but we put things in place, or we had plans. And if your kid doesn't get to I learned this years ago, make it your MBA. So if you
Right.
don't get to the NBA, make it your NBA. So maybe you're playing in the Ivy League, and maybe you're playing in Europe.
Right.
Be the best you can be, because just because you didn't make the NBA doesn't mean you're a failure in any sense.
Mhm. So s so it sounds like a love story.
It
What you
is, it
what
is, brother. It is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of parents misconstrue, the love of the game and the passion first, rather
Yes.
than it become this kind of sequential things or hoops you gotta jump through to get to the next, but that child may not have it inside. So you're just
Exactly.
basically saying that your children had that from the jump.
Yeah. Like, I don't like, Mary, listen, you've been in this space a long time. You've had a lot of success on the women's side. You can't get to the next level if you don't love the game and the process. Like, you have to
Mhm.
love. Everyone looks at the game and, oh my god, the game. But yeah, but the lifting the weights, and going cold tub and hot tub, and not playing when you're hurt, or your coach is getting on you, and you still want to play. Those are situations you can have success. If you're just about the game, well, there's a lot to do before you get to the game, and
Mhm.
that's the process. That's what you have to love, because listen, Andrew went to a very tough school called Montverde Academy. Played with a great coach called Coach Boyle now at Aspire. Um, and he told me early in his career, if you don't love basketball, you're not staying. You're not staying in this, because it was in Florida, it was Orlando. It was very hot days. They're doing 8 400s,
Wow.
and then 120 under 125. You had to be like it was some treacherous stuff. There's pros in the gym, very intense atmosphere. If you don't love basketball, you're leaving. And for a lot of the kids that didn't really buy into that, they left.
Mhm.
Right. So
I
yeah,
and I can you speak on how parents can, navigate the process of having a talented kid and then protecting them from all the people who are trying to profit and manipulate or give them advice so they can benefit themselves?
yeah, it's a great question, but it's a very difficult question, because a lot of people don't want to hear what they're supposed to hear, right? And you made a point a moment ago that um, it's okay to be in an environment where you're not the best player. It's okay to be in a tough environment. It's okay to fail or not be the best that day. Um, Seek the best environment for your kids. Make a plan. Find people that've done this before.
Mhm.
Um, Find the best gym for your kid as possible, meaning competitive wise. Don't shy away from that, because at every level, it's going to get better and better. If you're that guy or girl, every level you're going to get, it's going to be guys who look just like you or girls look just like you when you walk in the building, and you got to
Mhm.
compete with them. When you get to the highest level, the NBA, let's be honest, Merrick, in WNBA and the NBA, there's a couple great superstars like LeBron or Michael Jordan's. Like, they're one of these guys are just next level, but
Mhm.
the majority of kids are not that. So if you get to the league, you're not going to be given 35 minutes a game from the jump. You're going to have to be a
Right.
role player. And if it's your first time being with good players, if it's the first time you're with good players and now you're not the main player, that's tough for your mental,
Yeah.
right? So you got to seek environments, and that are the best environments as early as possible. And that's what I did with my kids. We
Mhm.
were always on good teams. We always played the best competition. We didn't shy from anybody. Traveled to the U.S. My kids luckily played FIBA, so they played the best of the best at all times. High school was a
Mhm.
joke. I mean, competitive wise, I mean, that gym was crazy in Montford. So,
Right.
and be the cream that rises to the top. And if you're not, don't look to blame people. Look to
Mhm.
see what's better for you, how you can get better. And you know what? Find the best coach. Be in that gym. Don't go to the closest or gym that's the easiest gym for your kid.
Mhm.
Challenge your kid if you want that, right? A lot of parents say they want the best for their kids. They want that, but when push comes to shove, what they want is their kid to be the main person or a girl in that gym.
Right.
And that's
Mhm.
not conducive to being the best of the best, right? So,
Mhm. S
um,
so it sounds like there's a little bit of humility that's attached to, what you're referring to, understanding that you may not be the best, and I think at every level, you're gonna be a rookie at some point. So,
100%.
or a small fish in a big pond now.
Yeah.
So I think there's a mental aspect of understanding, okay, this is part of this this resilience that I have to build up in
Yeah.
those spaces. So I'm glad that you refer to that because there's a lot of parents that think that their kid is the best no matter where they go, and then they're
Yeah.
upset when they're on the bench or when they get when they get released or something like that. But I just want to switch gears in terms of where you are right now. And again, so you're the CEO of Ontario Basketball. One of your mandates as a CEO is to ensure that everyone can play organized basketball. One of the separators between Canada and the US is funding. Like, let's
Yeah.
just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
They have tons of funding and they hire and go out and hire the best of the best. How could we convince well, man, I guess I'm saying we, but you as CEO, how do you convince the private sector to kind of step up to the plate to get us to that level where we all love gold medals, in the Olympics. We all love those the FIBA America Championship gold medals. We all love that, but that requires funding. How do you convince them to step up to the plate?
Well, it's like you wrote this question, asked me this question, like I planned this with you because it's a great question, and we're creating a foundation here, Ontario Basketball, to do more of what you just said, meaning to
Mhm.
find funding and energize private and public money to help the basketball space because I don't think we've done a lot of that in this chair in the past.
Mhm.
I think we have, unfortunately, right now, Merrick, our sport, basketball, is becoming very expensive.
Yep.
Um, high school basketball that we kind of grew up with offset being the number one thing is not the same anymore. Some of the best basketball in this province is playing at the OSBA level. There's still great kids in the high school space, but a lot of them are articulating to our space, the OSBA.
Yep.
And it's not cheap for everyone. Everyone can't afford to play in the OSBA. There's prep
Mhm.
schools, there's very few regular high schools, and there's a cost to that because these programs are traveling to the US. Maybe they're going to foreign countries to get better experience for basketball. These all cost money.
Mhm.
So we're creating a pathway and trying to go to governments federally, provincially, to create in the private sector to create opportunities for different sets of groups that maybe don't have
Right.
access. Um, and for me, I'm not just saying basketball. I'm saying let's create jobs. Let's create pathways after basketball for these kids.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
that's a way to generate interest from the private sector and from the public sector. Because I think, to be very blunt, I'm not sure that there's an appetite just for basketball programming
Mhm.
for some of the kids or people that need access. But if I say to them, listen, you're giving access. That's the carrot, basketball. But the real meat of the bone is jobs, internships. What are the hot
Right.
jobs in the province? Let's create programs that lead kids with basketball because they love that, but then they can become a coach or a referee, or they can become a physiotherapist, or I can maybe have a program that leads to new career paths, hot jobs in
Mhm.
tech,
Right.
cybersecurity. So I spend a lot of time right now working on the foundation, getting it set up, and then making connections, the private sector, the public sector, hopefully there's some money in there to give back, start
Mhm.
these programs, and then create pathways to jobs, create taxpayers, essentially.
Yep, that was incredible news. You know, a foundation is the foundation. Like that's it's a foundation is called that for a reason. It's a platform to build higher. Um, so that is incredible, and I think it's a testament to the vision of understanding that, you know, how we grew up, you know, we didn't really have much and we relied on access. And if the community center wasn't open, if and it wasn't free, there's just no ball.
That's
So
facts.
I think what you're doing is very impressive and commendable, and it just adds to another thing that I can give you flowers for.
Mhm.
But at this point in your life, you are starting. I know I'm starting. You're just a couple years older than me, to think about legacy.
Yeah.
And when it's all said and done, and you have your feet up in Negril or Mobe on the beach, you're looking through your toes at the blue water, and you're sipping on your favorite adult beverage. What would you? What do you want? How do you want to be remembered?
Well, I don't think the reason why I came back to Terry basketball, as much as I'm happy to be the CEO of the OBA, was to create the foundation.
Hmm.
I want to leave the game better. I want to create access points. I want to find money from the government. I want to find money from the private sector to support programming that's sustainable in our space. The last thing I want to do is be here for a couple of years and create programs that are for 1 year.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to get some roots for these programmings, these the foundation to get going and have
Hmm.
sustainable money coming in on a regular basis to provide for that. Because listen, as much as we get a lot of glamour for the OBA and NBA players and WNBA players here and there's a lot more of those kids that are not doing those things and would
Yep.
not be doing those things. So we just need better access, working with other sports too, because we have similar problems, getting more gyms, um, more facilities so we can do more programming, access, making sure sport is safe. Um, you know, we want a system where a husband and wife can sign their kid up with any program in the province and then go to the mall. Their
Hmm.
kid is safe.
Right.
We're working to do that. Things are always going to happen. There's going to be bad actors in every sport. Trying to make sure there's pathways and something happens, we can deal with it.
Hmm.
With transparency, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
So listen, these are not things that are going to happen tomorrow, but we're planning them. We're working on them, and we're very excited to be doing these things. I think it's bringing basketball, creating a foundation. And for me, in the talks I've had lately in the past couple of months, over the past year, it's opening doors. Like my
Hmm.
main job here, Merrick, is to picture your grocery shopping. And
Yep.
I want to be able to have anything that anybody wants, meaning a sponsor, the government, say, so if you want something in high performance, we have that. If you want
Hmm.
something in this space, we have that. If you want something with girls and women, yes, we have that. If you want something in disabled space, we can provide that too. So I want to be
Hmm.
able to be a resource. If a funder wants to give us money, we have everything on the shelf. So I'm creating that shelf right now. So everything is
Hmm.
there. If anybody has money, if they have an interest in anything, I think it's my job to knock on these doors and figure out what corporate Canada wants. And then we provide it for them. Because whatever monies we get is going back to community. We're not for profit, so we can't have a big bank. We're not supposed to have too
Yep.
much money in the coffers. So what comes in is
Right.
supposed to go back out. And especially with the foundation, there'll be a role where we're intaking money, then there'll be a role to outtake money, to give money
Hmm.
back. Right. So as long as you look the right way, that money will be accessible to you, to do good works.
I
So
mean,
I mean, long winded. Just want to leave this space better, Merrick.
yeah. I mean, and you're doing that. And so if I'm talking about Claude Nembhard and I say, well, he left the space he was in better. Is that cool?
That's very cool. That's and the good thing about me right now, I'm very humble with this. Boys are doing well. I'm getting older. So I don't need a lot in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That I can't get on my own. So I'm not
Right.
here to load my pockets or anything or make connections to do this for myself personally.
Hmm.
I'm here to really make this space better, leave it better, so the next person who replaces me can just make it even better.
Claude Nembhard, I
All right,
appreciate you,
man.
man. I
Oh,
appreciate
man.
you.
It's all love. It's all love. You know what? And not for anything. I know you're on this call and we're talking here and we have a history. We know each other for a minute, but what you guys do in Ottawa is game breaking. I mean, you guys embody everything you need in a basketball situation. You guys love what you do. You make kids better. They get to the next level. And you're someone I really respect in this space, Merrick. You come from a great family of basketball people and sport people. So thank you for asking me to be on here. Spread the gospel of the Ontario Basketball Association. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. Go well, have a great day, and keep making a difference.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Let's
All
go.
right, my man. Okay,
All right,
cool.
bye.